How would you like to make money by putting on retreats? Well, in this video, I'm going to teach you how to start a retreat business. Stay tuned. So starting your own retreat business is really simple. You start by having your first retreat. So in this video, I'm going to share with you what you must do in order to plan and execute your very first retreat. So step one is what I call the discover and design phase. In the discover and design phase, you're discovering your own reasons for doing a retreat, and you're discovering the audience that you're going to serve at your retreat, and then you're designing the retreat experience that's perfect to get the outcome that they need, want, and will pay for. The second step is to decide and commit and to identify where and when you're going to host your retreat, because you can't sell anybody into it if you don't know where it's going to be and when it's going to be. The third step is to promote and enroll, and that means to market your retreat, put it out into the world, and also enroll people and sell them into the retreat. And the fourth step is to prepare and plan the content. I laid all this out for you because a lot of times the biggest mistake I find that people do when they're trying to do their first retreat and start their retreat business is they start at the end. They start by trying to design their retreat and create everything that goes into it rather than backing up and making sure that the retreat is designed to sell. One of my favorite quotes ever is "sell it first, figure it out later." And what that means is that we want to go out into the world and make sure that this retreat is going to resonate with people before we invest a whole lot of money and time in producing it. All right, so let's go back into discover and design. What does that entail? Well, it entails a series of P words. I made it easy for you to remember. The first is purpose. What is your purpose in putting together this retreat? Is this something that you're doing because it's really aligned with who you are and what you want to do? Or is it something that you think you should do because somebody told you, hey, you should do a retreat? So I really want you to check in with yourself first and see, is this something that excites you and energizes you? And if it does, let's move on to the second P. The second P is people. Who are the people that your retreat will serve? What we want to do is make sure that the people that we're drawing together are a good fit for you and a good fit for each other. So getting clear about who the target audience of this retreat is going to go a long way towards making it much easier to market and way easier to sell. Once you've identified who you want to serve, we want to look at what are their pain points and problems. The pain points and problems, I like to limit it to 3 key areas of pain points and problems. The first is, what are the pain points that they know and admit? These are the pain points that they know they want a solution to, that they're already going to Google and searching on the internet. How do I blank? So the pain points and problems that they know they have and they're actively looking for a solution to. The second piece, the second type of pain point and problem is the problem that they know but don't admit. Generally, this is more of an emotional problem. This is something where they might feel anger or resentment or shame. I'll give you an example. Our ideal client for our retreats is a business owner, maybe like you, an entrepreneur who wants to learn how to grow their business. And the pain point that they know and admit, the one they're looking for, is, how do I make more sales? How do I create a successful retreat? How do I attract more clients? Right? Those are the pain points that are on the surface. But that second level might be the emotional level. The problem that they don't necessarily admit might be, I feel like a failure, or I feel like a fraud, or I've been working at this for so long, why haven't I figured this out already? And they feel frustrated and tired and exhausted. And generally, they probably wouldn't tell people about that. You ask them how they're doing, they're like, hey, I'm doing fine. I'm making it happen. The third type of pain point or problem is the problem that they don't know, so they can't admit. That's the blind spot. And the blind spot is often the work that really needs to be done in the retreat. The problem with the blind spot is that you and I can see that our target audience, that our ideal clients have this blind spot, but they don't know it yet. So if we use the blind spot, that problem that they don't know they have yet, too early in the marketing or sales process, the people that we want to attract won't be attracted. So I recommend saving that pain point for your marketing and for your actual retreat. So we want to lead with our pain points that people know they have, and then address and connect to the ones that they don't necessarily admit. Once we're clear about the people we want to serve and the pain points and problems that we're going to help them with, we want to generate the retreat promise. The promise of your retreat can be almost anything, and we've seen so many different promises. We've had coaches do retreats, SEO experts, marketing consultants, email marketing experts. We've had spiritual leaders and chiropractors. Any kind of person can lead a retreat, and the difference is going to be in the promise that their retreat has. So for example, our retreat, which is a business retreat, our promise is that you'll create a business plan for your business. You'll walk away with clarity and focus about what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. But I also work with a spiritual coach, and the outcome from her event is that you will have a total life transformation in the way that you perceive yourself and in your empowerment around your own life. We also worked with a chiropractor, and he has retreats where people relieve their pain in their spine and walk away with more awareness about how they're sitting and standing in order to alleviate the problems that they're experiencing in their body. So the promise of your retreat is a very simple statement about what you can expect when you leave. And it's really focused on an outcome, not on a promise. And for example, if your outcome is you're going to learn how to do this thing, it's not as exciting as by the time you leave, you will have done this thing. So here's an example of a great event promise. One of our clients, Leanne Webster, has a retreat called Just Done It Weekend. In that weekend, you actually create your email marketing landing page to subscribe people to your list. You create the lead magnet that people get when they sign up for your list, that free gift that people want. You map out your whole content for the whole year of all your email marketing for every single month. So that's called Just Done It. That's the event promise, that you're going to leave and you will have already actually done all the work. So coming up with your retreat promise is a huge piece and goes a long way toward helping you market and sell your retreat. The next thing you'll want to lay out is your packages and pricing for your retreat. Now, what I've found is that when you sell your retreat by itself, it occurs for people very different than when you sell your retreat inside of a package. Selling it inside of a package is actually way more effective. So instead of selling just a 3-day retreat or whatever it is that you're selling that event, selling it as a jumpstart package or a launch package that includes a 3-day retreat has a lot more perceived value. Don't ask me why. So when it comes to packaging your retreat, look at what else can I package in with it to create a bundle and create something that's more cohesive than just an event. And I think part of the reason is that when it comes to pricing, which is the next piece of the puzzle, there's a higher perceived value for a package or a program than just for an event. And that's where pricing comes in. You want to consider, a lot of times I see that people underprice their retreats. And so think about pricing your retreat not based on the fact that it's 3 days, or not based on where it is or whether they get food or all that, but based on the value of that promise, the value of the outcome that people are getting. Now, just to give you an idea, my favorite retreat price point is around $2,000. I feel like that's a great entry level into an intimate 3-day experience that delivers a powerful outcome. And it sets you up to have good enough clientele that can afford that $2,000 price point that they could potentially be a good client for after, for that big back end, for whatever you're going to sell on the back end of your retreat. And we haven't talked about that here, but we will. The final P is the problem solution. The problem solution is where we identify what's the problem that my retreat will solve. The solution is your retreat, but then there's a new problem. What is the new problem that you can offer a solution for at your retreat? The idea is problem, solution, new solution to create a back end from your retreat. So once people get that resolution that they're looking for, there's always a new problem. And what is that new problem? And could you deliver a solution to it over time so that you get a monthly recurring back end? All right, so that was discover and design. Step 2 of creating your retreat is to decide and commit. That means putting a date on the calendar and deciding where you're going to do your event. Now, one of the things that people often do when they're creating their first retreat is they go try to find some exotic location that ends up costing them a whole lot of money and then feeling a whole lot of pressure to enroll people into that exotic experience. I would recommend doing things a little bit differently. I recommend hosting your foundational retreat, this $2,000-ish price point retreat. I recommend hosting it closer to home, near you, ideally near a major airport if possible, and enrolling people in that, and then saving that exotic retreat style experience for the back end program for the people who enroll in your long-term big back end. And so for this first foundational initial retreat that delivers a powerful outcome, this promise that you've designed, it's really important to find a venue that allows you to deliver that promise and that keeps your costs low. Why? Because obviously we want to make money, and we also don't want to apply a whole lot of pressure to your first time out the gate, especially if you're trying this as a new model. So I highly encourage you I've done retreats in my home. I've done retreats in a condo common area. I've done retreats by borrowing a friend's upstairs of her gym. I've done retreats in a friend's backyard. And I know clients who've done them on houseboats, in golf clubs, right? There's so many different places to find where people can gather. And since a retreat is generally small, you don't need a whole bunch of space. You really don't need to spend a whole lot of money. Make the retreat about the achievement of that promise, not about all the bells and whistles that go along with it. And so look for a venue, ideally one that's low cost, and set those dates. I recommend setting the dates about 60 to 90 days out from now to give you time to design it, give you time to promote it, and give you time to enroll people in it. And I love a 10-person retreat. I think 10-person retreats are the perfect number. You can definitely go bigger, but especially if it's your first time out the gate, consider having it be a small, intimate affair so you can get your feet wet and really practice. The third piece is to promote and enroll people into your retreat. Now, my favorite way to promote and enroll into a retreat is literally personal outreach, picking up the phone, going to events, shaking hands, kissing babies, and basically having really solid 45-minute to 1 hour conversations with people who could be a good fit. I subscribe to the 6-foot rule. Anybody that's within 6 feet of me, I tell them about my retreat. And that's what the people on our team do too. And so promoting, number 1, is just networking, getting out there and talking and connecting. Another great strategy to promote your retreat is to get on stages, deliver workshops and seminars that explain to people that third pain point, that blind spot that they might not even know they have. Putting out Facebook Lives, doing webinars, just getting the word out and educating people about that third pain point is a really powerful way to get people's eyebrows to perk up and say, I'm interested in this retreat. And then enrolling them, first step, into signing up for just a conversation, a meaningful conversation. Get on the phone and check in with them about what they want and why they don't have it, and seeing if they're truly a fit for your event. And I cannot stress this enough. We want to make sure that we only enroll people into our retreats that are a good fit. These are small, intimate events. And if you get one bad apple in the room, it will spoil the bunch. So it is so important that you make sure that the people you enroll are a right fit. So promoting and enrolling people is that third step. And then the final step is planning your retreat, is creating the content for it, generating the activities in it. And since you've already been selling, remember, sell it first, figure it out later, then you already know who's going to be there and what their needs are. So you can customize your retreat to the people who are going to be in the room. One of the things that we do that I think is really powerful is before people come to our retreat, we have an intake call with every single attendee. And in that intake call, we get clear about what their particular situation is, what their particular needs are, and then we customize the retreat and we make sure that we address each and every person's needs and desires. So now you know that the best way to start a retreat business is actually to host your first retreat. If you're interested in learning more, click the link below and get my Retreats to Riches roadmap, which will help walk you through these steps that I just took you through in much more depth so that you can make sure that you have a successful first retreat. Enjoy.